spot. Anyway, let me quote Werewolf King. I have been paid more as a man than as a woman in a call center job. Call center? Question? Ow. Okay,
I was hoping
that
for a
part.
little education. But so Looney, very much in similar circumstances as Hunter. Uh, my coworkers, now it is a female dominated field.
Oh,
Uh,
Jimmy.
we are, we, well, okay, let me put it this way. My company is female dominated, but our male counterparts, though less and put in less hours, less time, and have less skills, are still paid more than us. I literally just talked to my coworker the other day. I've worked with this company longer than him, and I am paid $1.50 less than him. Oh, and we're not supposed to
Okay.
talk about it
For
because
the
we can't know
same
that.
job. And let me ask clarifying questions. Is that for the same job? For the
Yes,
same amount of responsibilities? For the same amount of hours? Question.
same. Actually, I put in more hours than he does. I
So
put
you put
in
in
more.
more hours and get paid less.
Yes.
Oh, that's bullshit.
That's illegal as well.
No,
It,
please, no, that's not true. Stop. It's
well,
not
sorry, I'm
true.
talking about in
Women
the UK.
are
It's illegal.
okay. I
I'm
have a
sorry.
question. No, okay, they still
It's
do it
illegal,
even if
yet
it
it's
is
still
legal.
happening.
It's still
Bullshit.
happening. It's still
It's not.
happening. People do illegal things all the time and they don't
It's
get in
illegal,
trouble.
yet it's still happening.
Yeah.
Ironic. Is
I
it
Okay,
Okay,
actually
listen,
illegal?
hold on.
please,
Hang on,
please.
Rudy.
Can I just speak for 1 second, please, on this?
Yeah, go ahead, Lenny.
I've worked for 20 years, in recruitment, and that's for large financial institutions and hedge funds and financial technology firms, right? And I can tell you, hand on heart, I have never ever witnessed a woman getting paid less than a man for doing exactly the same job. In
Hang
fact,
on.
women come at a higher premium because they have to hit their quotas. So
Oh my God. You know what?
Hang
why
on.
are you,
Hang
oh
on.
my
Hang
God,
on.
Hold
Let
on,
him finish.
hold on.
stop
Let
Let's
speaking
him
let him
over
finish.
finish.
me because I'm going to do a Zen on you because all you're doing is misandry. You're talking over me
Because you're
and you're
saying
trying to
dumb
make your
stuff.
point.
Okay,
See, this
hang
is the
on.
problem. If you don't like it. You don't like it when a man does it to you and talks over you, but you're allowed to talk over me. Why is that
I am.
allowed?
Okay,
Why
Lenny,
is there,
let's get back to the topic because we're giving
I
you
was
the
making
floor.
a
Just
valid
talk.
point.
Just stop.
Like, I'm sorry.
Talk.
Hang on, guys. Okay, and I mean, like everyone. Looney needs to finish. We let other people finish, and then we can talk. But we do need to keep in mind he's over in the UK. He is not here in the US of A, which yes, it is illegal, but it still happens frequently.
It doesn't happen at all in the UK. It doesn't happen frequently. Give me an example.
That's
As
not
I
true.
said,
Statistically,
I've
that's just not
worked,
true.
I've worked in recruitment for 20 years, and I've recruited for the biggest and best companies and some really shitty companies as well. And I tell you what, women actually get paid this exactly the same, if not slightly more, because they come with a premium because they need the quota and there aren't as many women in the industry. And that I'm talking about finance and technology into banks and hedge funds and financial technology firms. So I don't know whether you work at Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Walmart. If a woman, I know in the UK, for instance, but the basic wage is exactly the same for a man and a woman.
Okay, well
And I know,
that's in the UK. Most, if not all of us on this panel live in America. And it's
Sorry, that's not true. I'm sorry. I've got a
oh, Oh my God, I am so
I'm
sorry.
in Malaysia.
No,
Okay.
you're okay. You're okay. It's just I just want to point out that the
Oh
analysis
my
of
God,
the
I'm
latest figures
sorry.
of the UK gender pay gap put the pay gap at 9.4% between women and men, and that's for 2022, the financial year 2022 to 2023. So there is statistically there is a gender pay gap in the UK. Like you can tell all the personal stories. Well, I've never seen it, but the reality is there is a gender pay gap in the UK. There's no getting
Where?
around that.
I
Where?
apologize. I wasn't paying attention to anyone else's. I
No,
apologize.
you're fine. You're fine. Looney, what do you mean where? In the UK, it's done on averages.
No, where? So, in what industries?
It's all industries. It's an analysis of the entire UK workforce.
Well,
It takes
just
averages.
what they're doing is they're looking at averages on terms of what people get paid. Like, how much does an engineer get paid compared to a nurse, for instance? That's where the pay
Yeah.
gap is.
Okay,
Yes, yeah,
may I?
yeah. But we're talking about an average pay gap across all across all sectors, all pay grades.
Yeah, but
Okay.
somebody that's a dustman, for instance, or a road sweeper, right?
Okay.
How many women want to do those jobs?
Looney,
Yeah.
may I
Sorry, go.
try to put a clarifying point on this? Because I think you're missing what Cog is saying, and I want to hone in on it because maybe I'm missing what he's really saying. Cog is saying that when the UK was assessed for position to position, career to career, there is a pay gap between males and females in that particular field, in that particular position, in that particular region of the world. Am I correct in saying that, Cog? They're not comparing cross positions. They're not comparing a janitor to a teacher. They're comparing teacher to teacher.
Yes, it's done on median the median pay gap. So like they calculate it for each sector and then each job within that sector, and then they take the median from within that, calculate a larger median, and they put that out. Interestingly, they've also put out a figures on the proportion of the top quartile pay band that are women, which amounts to 39%, and proportion of the bottom quartile pay band that are women, which amounts to 56.9%. I just think these are interesting figures. That's all.
So, do you think so? Do you think a doctor? I mean, I don't believe the figures that you're coming up with. I'd love to see the study. And I'm willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn, and I'm willing to look at the numbers. But I'm pretty sure a GP, whether they're male or female, they get paid the same amount of money. I mean, I
Okay,
think it's
I have a
pretty.
clarifying question. Is a GP a general practitioner, as in like a doctor or a physician?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. I just wanted to ask a clarifying question, and then I would like to address someone in the comments, Liquid Thoughts, with the Equal Pay Act of 1963. You are correct. They did try and actually make it, equivalent across the board for men and women in the pay gap. But here's the thing. Companies will tell you as an individual, don't talk with any other person about the wage we are giving you because they might get jealous or, whatever. That right there, what they do to get around that is illegal. And you could file for issues and sketchy business practices. However, but because Americans in general, and let's dumb it down, okay? In general, Americans are stupid. I'm American, I will say it. And in general, Americans can be stupid, like really stupid. And so when they say, don't talk to anybody about your wage or your hourly wage, or it is grounds for firing. Um, that's how they get away with the wage gap because people are so afraid of losing their jobs. Enough. People are so afraid of losing their jobs and losing their childcare, losing their health insurance, because now they're trying to make it point blank that your insurance is only as good as your job. Like, people get away with this bullshit.
I will relinquish my spot for Liquid Thoughts to come up.
Okay.
They want to come up, and I think they have a response to you, so I figure it's better that I go.
Okay, if that's what you feel.
It's a,
Liquid Thoughts.
okay, it's very different in the UK. It's very different in the UK. We show each other our payslip. We all know what we're earning. Everyone knows each other's salary. And there will be people that won't want to tell you that if you're free and open with it, that you can't get sacked for sharing that information. In fact,
Except for
people,
they state that it is grounds for dismissal.
well, yeah, not in the UK. But in the UK, we are very open and we share that information with each other. And so that
Hey,
we
more
can go,
power to you.
why is he getting paid more? Why am I not getting paid more? And then you can bring it up, or you can go to HR. And then we celebrate it by showing when we get our bonus checks, we go, look at the bonus that I got and how I got it. Hoo-ha. And we share that information with each other, and it makes a much more healthy environment.
Yeah, but
Okay,
then that
Hex.
information is telling us. Sorry, go on, Zach.
Hex, the NLRA states employees have the right to communicate with others at work about wage. Yes, I understand that. But in order to know that, I had to do a lot of deep digging, and a lot of people don't do that.
May I interject a little bit here?
Welcome back, Liquid Thoughts. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you to the host for bringing me back up. I'm gonna preface something really quick. I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I do claim that I can read and I see things, and you know what I mean. So I'm just pointing out what I think logically is available to all of us if we agree
Okay.
to basic logic. If it's against the law to pay a woman less than a man for the exact same job, it's literally illegal to do so. So if I'm going to be challenging somebody, or if a lady is going to be challenging the company on the pay itself, we're already going into a court situation. So any of those threats that they make about, oh, you can't talk about this or you can't do this, whatever, that's all out the window now. Because once it gets into a court of law, they're going to get all that information themselves anyways. So there's no way that they can intimidate onto this person now, because now we're in a totally different realm. This isn't just a conversation in the office. This is now a conversation amongst a jury of your peers. So now they have to play nice. Okay, so when I bring things like that up, it's like, I'll use a totally off subject or example really quick if you allow me just a moment to say it. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
In Florida, they passed a law about the whole immigration thing, right? And everybody's all up in arms about it. Nobody realizes that, guess what? That law already exists federally. Yes, sir. Give me just a moment. I'll be out there to help you. But I just wanted to point that out for legal reasons. If you couldn't tell, I have to mute for a moment. I'll be right back. Sorry.
All right. We'll see when you get back.
As Zen said, you just need to question it more. And the same with Liquid had a good point as well. Like, we just don't tolerate it. Do your research and make sure that the rights are being you're getting your rights, because you should be talking about your salary. You should be proud if you're earning more. And then if someone says, "Oh, hold on, why am I not getting the same as you? We're doing exactly the same job. Are they doing it to the same capability as you? Are they getting the same results as you?" And if the answer is yes, then they should be paid exactly the same as you. Whether you're a man, woman, they, them, it doesn't matter. You know, You could be a two-spirit animal and you could get paid the
See,
same
guys,
amount of.
he's learning. He's learning. I'd like to point out he's learning. See? The slow Zen learning courses do work. Please let me know if you want to take Zen courses as well. I have very reasonable rates of long-ass conversations at the dead of middle of night and maybe some snacking. But that's it. I'm pretty decent. See? Everybody's thinking I'm a monster.
To be
So
fair,
I feel like
to be
there's a
fair,
couple of problems to raise.
right.
One, in the UK, the average employment tribunal cost is about £8,500. So if you want to actually enforce your rights, you've got to have a spare £10,000 laying around, which most workers don't have. Most workers in the UK, even in upper percentiles now, are living paycheck to paycheck. It's difficult in the UK right now. But the other thing is it doesn't address the core claim of the gender pay gap, because the core claim of the gender pay gap is not that people aren't being paid for doing exactly the same work, the exact same hours, the exact same time for the exact same enforcement of those rules. The central claim of the gender pay gap is that women take on more reproductive labor in the household, so they have less time to go to work, and they're more likely to be expected to take lower paying jobs. They're more likely to be taken into areas that are statistically underpaid because women take up the majority of them. But it's the reproductive labor in the household that tends to be the big factor in forcing lots of women into situations where they are suffering lower pay because they are being forced to work less hours because they are expected to do more of the unpaid labor that goes on at home. Does that make sense?
Yes. Also, Omni, watch it on the satire, please. Just tone it down a couple freaking notches, please. Oh, Liquid. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
No, I understand that you are not a lawyer, so I won't hold you to like, oh my God, this guy